The next occult and secretive group that we have to look at in the fomentation of communism throughout Europe and the rest of the world, but specifically in England and in the UK, is the Fabian Society. Absolutely critical influence, especially in the UK, and their implementation of what is known as incremental socialism. The Fabian Society, founded on January 4th, 1884 in London, is a British socialist organization whose purpose is to advance socialism via gradualism or incrementalism, rather than by revolutionary overthrow. This strategy is known as incremental socialism, and this is the favored approach for bringing a whole civilization into communism today, is to do it through incremental means, so that the population cannot see the march toward socialism and communism, and they just allow it to happen in their ignorance. If you do it all at once, people would suddenly recognize it and ask questions and not go along with it. But if you incrementally introduce it, people don't see the incremental changes. The Fabian Society was historically related to radicalism, a left-wing political tradition. The Fabian Society has had powerful influence on British politics, specifically upon the Labour Party of Great Britain, which actually grew out of the Fabian Society. The Fabian Society also founded the London School of Economics in 1895. The Fabian Society now functions primarily as a political think tank and is one of 20 socialist societies affiliated with the UK's Labour Party. The Fabian Society was named after the Roman general Quintus Fabius Maximus, who was nicknamed the Delayer. His Fabian strategy sought gradual victory against a superior force through persistence, harassment, and wearing the enemy down over time, rather than through climactic battles. The logo of the Fabian Society is a tortoise, which represented the group's strategy for a slow, imperceptible transition to socialism. Its coat of arms is a wolf in sheep's clothing, represented its preferred methodology of infiltration for achieving its goals. The wolf in sheep's clothing symbolism was later abandoned by the Fabian Society due to its blatant connotations. Noted Fabian Society members included playwright George Bernard Shaw, author H.G. Wells, psychologist Graham Wallas, and logician Bertrand Russell. Annie Besant, noted occultist and leader of the Theosophical Society in the early 1900s, was also a member of the Fabian Society. Besant wrote, quote, "A democratic socialism controlled by majority votes can never succeed, but a truly aristocratic socialism is the next step upward in civilization." Besant was the personal mentor of fellow Fabian Society member Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, who subsequently framed the economic policy for the nation of India upon Fabian socialism. Members of the Fabian Society have included noted political leaders of many other countries. Obafemi Awolowo, Premier of the Western state of Nigeria, was a Fabian Society member in the late 1940s. The founder of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was an avid member of the Fabian Society in the early 1930s. Lee Kuan Yew was the first Prime Minister of Singapore, and stated in his memoirs that his initial political philosophy was strongly influenced by the Fabian Society. Mikhail Aflaq, widely considered as the founder of the Arab Ba'athist movement, was a Fabian socialist. And Salama Musa of Egypt, a prominent advocate of Arab socialism, was a member of the Fabian Society since 1909. 20th century members of the Fabian Society included UK Prime Ministers Ramsay MacDonald, Clement Attlee, Harold Wilson, Tony Blair, and Gordon Brown. 229 members of the Fabian Society were elected to the British Parliament in the 1945 general election. The major influence of the Fabian Society on the Labour Party of the UK and on the English-speaking socialist movement worldwide has made it one of the main inspirations of international socialism. And this man is largely